everyone, welcome back to another video here on Telaiko. Today's gonna be a fun one, doing something a little bit interesting. We don't give a lot of love to the saltwater tank so far. We've been focusing more on the freshwater tank just because we have so many more of them. I'm looking at right now we have what, 12 freshwater tanks in here and 4 more in the house, so definitely a lot more, plus this one, so 13 in here. So we're going to focus a little bit more on the saltwater tank. We were able to go to a convention in the near area, so it was pretty fun. Able to buy some cool stuff from a couple of vendors. But before we get into that, I do need to feed the tilapia, and it's always a joy to feed them. I'm feeding them the Hikari food sticks today. The garage is still waking up. All the tanks aren't on, so it's not usually this dark in here. But they're right up next to the tank, and if I'm gonna be over here, I gotta show them a little bit of love for the time being. But they're a little bit aggressive. They hit the food pretty good, so they're happy, they're healthy, and they're splashing the crap out of me. But it's fine because I've got this new merch. So we are rolling out merch. You're seeing this video ages in the future, so we've already rolled out this merch. But yeah, make sure, go to telaiko.com and you guys can get yourself some merch. But enough talk. I want to get this going because they have been float acclimating for a while and I want to get them into the tank. So I'm going to start from, in my opinion, least cool to most cool. So least cool, unfortunately, it's a little, you know, outside of typical me, but least cool to me is going to be these peppermint shrimp. So we got 2 peppermint shrimp. They're going to be, you know, smaller than the cleaner shrimp that are big, but they're still going to be well worth it. So we'll go ahead and get them in first. As you may know if you've been watching the channel, we have a clownfish and a damselfish in this tank that were rehomes from the individual that gave us this 75 and the skimmer that I use in the sum, and really the whole tank setup and this tank here. So shout out to that guy, but go ahead and get the shrimp in there first. Come on, guys. There we go, both of them are out. And we'll put them in on this side. And there you go, little buddies. And they are in. Now we did go ahead and put, the other fish are freaking out. They are definitely confused. But we did end up putting 2 sponge filters in there just in case me or any of my buddies decide to do a saltwater tank. It's gonna have beneficial bacteria in there, and oxygenation, of course, is important in any of the aquariums. But the next coolest is another invertebrate, and these are emerald crabs. So we got 2 emerald crabs, just a fun little kind of unique thing. Picked them up for a really good price from the vendor that was at the convention. So, you know, decided, hey, we got plenty of room in this tank, might as well. Man, those shrimp are already tearing up on the detritus that's in the aquarium. But we're gonna go ahead and pour these guys in. Get them up in here. We'll put them right about there. Clownfish is like, what the heck? What are these things? But they're gonna be fine. Yeah, they are. They're gonna be good. We've got some hardscape. So this, I want to get the bags of fish in there first because they've been in the bags for a little while and I don't want the ammonia to get too high on them. And they've got 75 gallons to play with. But we've got some more hardscape, and we're going to be completely redoing the aquarium with maybe some other surprises too. But the next coolest, and might not be the only one that we get in this tank, is going to be a cleaner wrasse. So the cleaner wrasse is pretty nice. It's going to help with, of course, cleaning in the aquarium, both fish and also the hardscape. But yeah, this one's going to be a pretty good one. So we'll get him in next. My little buddy, there we go. We'll put him in on this side. Alright, there he goes. Clownfish is going to be a little aggressive at first, just like any other tank, and then they'll calm down. There we go. And the fourth and final bag, and to me the coolest thing that we bought has to be, because you should have clownfish in pairs, a black storm clownfish. Now this guy's a little bit smaller than the clown that we have now, but that's fine. He'll grow into a real big size. He's a little bit mocha. He kind of looks like a mocha storm right now, and that's just because he's in a bag, he's moving. But out of all the ones that we found, this guy looked gorgeous when he was in that show tank. So go ahead and get him out, dump the rest of that water, and get him in the tank. There you go. There you go, little buddy. Okay. And again, there's gonna be, just like any other aquarium, there's gonna be a little bit of stress, but already getting a little bit better. Clownfish are just, they're jerks. Clownfish are kind of like cichlids, but saltwater, they're kind of jerks, especially when you've got a clownfish that's been in this territory for a while. This rock is its territory. So I wanted to get the fish in there, but we're going to work on the hardscape now. So we're going to kind of, just like when you're introducing cichlids and you mess with where their hides are, that's what's about to happen now. But I mean, imagine if you were living in a house and then all of a sudden, you know, what, 6 new people just busted into the house out of nowhere, you'd be a little concerned. But before we talk about hardscape, I want to talk about the other things we bought. So we actually are getting into corals, like any reef tank. So we are going to be getting into corals. So we've got some hardscape that we're going to put in here, a big old arch and a big shelf. So we're going to rework what's already in here, maybe move around where the sponge filters are, where the power head is, and some of this other extra kind of loose leaf coral that I went ahead and just threw in here already. Just rework it a little bit. But first thing that we bought is some zoas. So we have 4 different kinds of zoas. It's going to be a little hard to see just the color and the beauty of them. But this is what is called a cat eye zoa. So this has some green and purple hues to it. Now, of course, it's stressed out. It's been traveling for a little while, but that is one of them. Another zoa that we got is called Armor of the Gods. So this is more of kind of like, it's got some orange and blue hints to it. This is CR Bloodsucker. Oh, this is the Crown Royal. So this one, he gave us a really, really good frag of this one. Bunch of polyps on there. This is more of a purple and blue, kind of a deep blue. And then this last one is what's called a bloodsucker. So this is gonna, when it opens back up, a little bit more orange. And then we got 2 other corals, one of which is this bad boy right here. That looks like the bubble tip coral. I might be wrong, but that looks like it is the bubble tip one. And this one, I might have lied, this might have been the bubble tip. One of them's a hammer, one of them's bubble tip. But a little bit different, a little bit of a skeleton to it, but nice. Still got a really, really good head on both of those. But those are gonna go on the hardscape, so we're gonna get everything situated, but they're already calming down. I mean, the cleaner wrasse is already trying to clean the, clean some stuff off of the clownfish. The small clownfish is kind of getting along, and we'll be going good. But all of this coral we put in here less than a week ago, it'll eventually look this color, and once we actually get some real coralline algae in here, from really these frags have them on it, so that will really help, then all of this coral will start to kind of look like live rock, so that'll be pretty nice as well. And I've still got the Hyger bricks in there too. But we'll go ahead and get this all situated. So I'm going to get the hardscape, and we'll figure out where we want everything to be. Don't think that big rock's gonna stay in the middle. It might, but conveniently, this is dry rock that came out of the ocean, but it's got all these cracks in it that conveniently might fit some of the plugs for the frags. So we may be able to attach some coral to this middle piece, so that we have the arch, the shelf, and the middle piece all having coral frags on it. But we'll work on that. The fish are in there, the fish are happy, that's what matters. We'll work on the other stuff now. All right, so we've got the hardscape. So we went ahead and put the arch that we got on this side, and then we got a frag holder on this side. We think we can go ahead and put some of the frags in some of these holes. We'll see, they may fall out. But then we went ahead and took the coral, or like the live rock that we had over here, and we just flipped it over. Give it a little bit of a new look. Now I do have gloves on. Why do I have gloves on? Some zoas have a toxin that will attach to pretty much every single cell in your body and mess you up potentially. Now some people freehand zoas and other corals. I don't want to risk it because that's just not fun. So what we're gonna do is, even with this non-zoa, we're gonna just place it in with the gloves, and sure, you look like you'll be good right there. But it already like sucked back up into its little coralness. But now we're working on to the next zoa. This is the cat eyes, which I'm pretty stoked about, especially because this one is already coming up, or it was already coming out of its polyps. So it was already looking rather nice, and it'll be fine once it gets back in here. But we're gonna go ahead and put this little buddy right over here on this shelf. And then the crown royals. These are going to get their own little ledge as well. Right over on the other side. Right over here. Boom. Just like that. Okay, so that is one side. So let me go ahead and get the lid back on. If you want to see how to make these lids, go check out the video. If we're smart, we'll go ahead and you know, put it up in the iCard for you. Very cheap greenhouse paneling. I'm sure if you've watched YouTube on, or fish on YouTube for any amount of time, you've seen these lids. They're very, very effective and very, very inexpensive. I think I got 4 or 5 panels of 4 foot by 8 foot for $150 on sale the first time I bought it. I think they were a little bit more expensive at like $200 the second time we got them, but the first time I caught it on a sale. Now this little dude, I say little very, very sarcastically, this is a nice frag, but this one, this is gonna go somewhere over here. And this might not be the final placement of these things. We might play around a little bit with them, but we can find some place that the frags will stay and play with them. Next one is the bloodsucker. Go ahead and get this one in there too. Let's play with this one right back here-ish. See how that stays. And we can always order some of the putty. That frag has some coralline algae, which I'm pretty stoked about. But we can always order some of the putty and some of the really thick super glue as well to go ahead and put these elsewhere, or keep them on the frag shelf for the time and then move them elsewhere. I think I'm gonna put this one right about here or somewhere else. I'll put it there for the time being. But yeah, who knows if this will be how they actually stay. We may throw them in different places, but we'll put them there for the time being. So now we're going to let this aquarium sit for a little bit, see how people interact, see how the clownfish interact with each other, see how the frags stay and where they lay, and then we'll see how it goes. But as always, we'll bring you back an update a little bit, but let's go ahead and get this all situated first. Let it be, and then we can take it from there. And here we are the next day. They are settling in beautifully. We've got the blue light on them, just hanging out, being able to show some of these colors and make some things pop. The zoas are getting used to their environment. They're popping out a little bit. We do see some of them still retracted in their polyps, but things do get better in the next coming days. All the fish, though, and the inverts are all settling in beautifully. The emerald crab is doing awesome. The shrimp love those Higer bricks. Everything is just loving it. So if you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe and come back next week.